Welcome back to another episode of the TheWorryWartGamer. I'm going to talk about games and memories and the way that they relate to one another. And I have a lot of games in the back of my mind that I remember, and I remember them fondly because of memories that I have playing the games. This one is Sega Master System's Pro Wrestling. I have a memory of playing this with my older brother. We had seasons mapped out. We were always the great masked men, these two here, one with the pink mask, one with the green mask, and we would play this for hours. The referee in this game took 3 seconds to count to 1. It was infuriating. You would cover him up and it would take 3 seconds just for him to go 1. 3 more seconds for him to go 2. It would take forever. Then you can go outside the ring and the music would change. You would grab the chair, get back in, whack the guy over the head. If you didn't get back in the ring in a certain amount of time when you were outside, you were disqualified. We had the entire season mapped out. We had marble back notebooks with each character. We wrote backstories for them. We had the WWF season right at home with these characters, and great memories playing this game. This still looks great for a Sega Master System game, an 8-bit game. It looks phenomenal, and it still is just at its core an incredibly fun wrestling game, and I can't recommend this enough. And the memory that I have tied to this is never going to go away. Absolutely loved playing this game, sitting in front of the television screen, screaming back and forth at each other, narrating it, pretending, somebody was Mean Gene, or, I was the Hulkster and he was Rowdy Piper. It was insane what we would do playing this game. I still remember some of the moves, the rolling Sobart, we would scream, the punch, the kick. It is just one of the most fun games that I can remember playing, and I love the memory of sitting there playing it with my older brother for hours and hours at a time. This is a great Sega Master System game. Never forget this one. So I'm walking through a store. I don't remember what store this was. It may have been a Kmart or a Sears. I don't remember. With my mother. I'm on the right side. She's on the left. This is how vivid this memory is. We're walking down a center aisle, and to the left, facing the aisle, is this kiosk, and sitting in it is a Sega Genesis, and the demo game is Altered Beast. I look to the left, and I see the transformation from man into wolf, and I'm just blown away. This is next gen. There's never been anything like this. The best graphics I've ever seen in my life. Nothing could possibly be better than the Sega Genesis. I was sold right then and there. I remember that so vividly. That memory of being there in the store with my mom is ingrained into me because of video games, because of the Genesis, because of Altered Beast. How crazy is that? Of course, years later, this is a pretty simple game, left to right, beat 'em up, but just a really cool premise. Great music. Remember the music in this one, and the crazy sound effects, and then the power up or rise from your grave. Something so ridiculous. I loved it. It did its best to show off the Genesis. There's a Sega Master System version of this, and then there's the Genesis version of this, and it is night and day. You knew you were getting something amazing with the Genesis because it did what Nintendo don't. Remember that one? And here we go. Power up. Look at that. I saw that and I thought, that's it. I can die now happy. Video games have peaked. I can't wait to get the Genesis, take it home with me. Love that memory. I wish I could remember the store I was in, but I remember the feeling I had seeing that and thinking, wow, this is it. This is the system I have to have. Nothing could be better. Of course, that feeling kind of goes away after a while, but it's still nice to think back and remember how excited I was seeing it. Every single time I see NHL 93, 94, I remember one word. Offsides. My brother would scream offsides because I didn't understand the concept of offsides. I wanted to just get into the zone, shoot the puck. I had no concept of the fact that the puck needed to enter the zone before anybody else, and we would play this endlessly. Another one of those games. Hockey was big in my house. We had the whole season mapped out. We picked out our favorite players. We ran through the seasons. We would pretend to be coaches. We would go back and forth. We would actually argue about this stuff. And again, off sides, screaming at me over and over and over again. I must have played 70 or 80 games before I even grasped the idea that the puck needed to enter the zone before anybody else, and he would scream, offsides, offsides. And I love that memory. And it all goes back to NHL 93, 94. An incredible game still today. I think you can play the retro version of this. I think they released it on the newer consoles. It is just the purest hockey game that you can play. It's just incredibly fun to go back and play this one. And the memory tied to this, again, sitting there just like pro wrestling with my older brother, playing this game, going through seasons. It is just priceless. I can still hear him screaming offsides. And finally, thank God, I grasped the concept of that. I've got a lot of great memories with the Sega Master System. Grade school, running home, my friend Gregory would come over and we would pretend that we were pilots. Of course, with this game, one person controlled the actual F16, the other person held the control pad, and they could simply hit a button to eject us when the ship was about to crash, when the plane was about to crash, and I would fly around and pretend that I was the pilot. He would call out our altitude and our speed. He would look at the radar, and then I would scream, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to use a missile. I'm going to use the machine gun. It was insane, and I remember us sitting down the basement playing this game, literally sitting on the floor for hours pretending that we were some sort of Top Gun fighter pilots. And all he had to do literally was just sit there and hold the pad and wait for me to say, okay, eject. And then he would hit a button. And somehow that was enough for him to have tons of fun while I steered the plane left, right, up, down, used the missiles, shot at the planes. This was high-tech Sega Master System stuff, man. I'll tell you, look at this. To us, this was like a simulation. This was the real deal. Only adults would play things like this. This was incredible. We had so much fun playing this game. F16 Fighting Falcon on the Sega Master System. Man, I just remember the joy of running home to play this, and that memory, again, tied to a game, tied to gaming, is something that's absolutely priceless. Now, when I started playing games by myself, getting into the idea of story, gameplay, characters, and really immersing myself in worlds, there was no greater moment than Metal Gear Solid on the original PlayStation 1. I remember the moment vividly when I was outside in the beginning level after you take this elevator up, and I was walking around hiding from the guards. One of the guards saw my footprints in the snow and actually said, "Whose footprints are these?" As soon as that happened, I remember sitting in the chair holding my controller and my jaw dropping because I knew that I had never experienced something like this in a video game before. It was almost surreal. It was incredible, and I knew that things had changed. They were paying attention to not only the story and the gameplay and the characters, but AI was moving forward, and it was going to contribute to the experience that you had in a video game. And this game still is the absolute best when it comes to stealth action. It was the granddaddy of stealth. I played the originals, Metal Gear, on the NES back in the day, but this one on the PlayStation 1 really pushed things forward. I still remember that, man, just sitting there, and I couldn't believe that the guard reacted to my footprints and then followed them and looked for me. It was absolutely incredible. There were so many moments in this game that most people know about. The memory card moment when Psycho Mantis reads your memory card and says, "Oh, you like to play football," or you like to play whatever game you had saved on your memory card. Ridiculous. And then when he said, "Put the controller down and I'll make it move," and the controller vibrated on the floor and actually moved, it was just incredible. I'll never forget that. Absolutely one of the best games ever. Great memories, Metal Gear Solid, PlayStation 1. Sometimes you're fortunate enough to be around when things absolutely change. Megaton changes within something that you're into, like video games. And when Super Mario 64 came out, was announced, was shown off, I mean, everyone I know just knew something special was about to happen. When I first saw this, I could not believe it. A 3D, fully realized world, a platformer, just anything in 3D. It was almost unheard of back then to be this great, to control this way. The movement, the first fully 3D camera created for this game, and every game since then has used that style of camera. It was it was just so special when this game came out. I remember staring at this. Again, I think I was in a mall somewhere, and I was looking through the glass at the television screen, and they were showing this, and I just thought, I cannot believe that this is a video game. Again, it's one of those moments, and this was 2 years, I believe, before Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. And you see how, I don't want to say rough, but you see how rough Metal Gear Solid was. It was doing a lot of things. It was pushing, a lot of boundaries in terms of 3D spaces and characters and controls. But this game completely revolutionized the entire industry. It was incredible. And just jumping into the paintings, going into other worlds, the hub world, and then going into other worlds, I just can't say enough about this game. You had to have lived through this to realize, just to experience how great this was when you first saw it. And I'll never, ever, ever, I'll never lose that memory of seeing this for the first time. Incredible Super Mario 64. I stood up in my chair, put the controller down, and literally applauded at the television screen when I finished the game Ico on the PlayStation 2. I was one of the only people that I know was excited about this game. I followed it as much as I could. I was there as soon as it released to get my copy, took it home, and I couldn't believe how beautiful this game was. I'm going to tell you, I don't think any character has been animated even better to this day than Yorda in this game. The way that she moves is almost magical. I cannot believe that they got this level of animation out of a PlayStation 2 title. The clothes, the way they move, the way her hand moves, the way she animates, it was just mesmerizing. It still is to this day. This game is haunting. That's what I want to say about this game. It's haunting. You keep playing it. You don't really know what's going on. There's a simplistic story. There are people born with horns. They're different. They're locked away in this castle. She's there. You meet her. It is just magical, and the gameplay is exploration-based, puzzle-solving. Yorda is the key to get out of this castle, and like I said, when you get to the end of this game, it is just such a great experience. I still remember it to this day. I absolutely love this game. It's one of my favorite of all time. It still looks phenomenal. Again, it's like one of those games that just doesn't belong on a system. You don't expect the PlayStation 2 or any system within that generation to be able to do this, and then it does it, and you're wowed. I love this game so much, and the memory that I have of this that'll never go away is that feeling when it was over of just putting the controller down and saying, wow, this is an experience that absolutely moved me. It's a video game. Movies have done it. Music has done it. And now video games has done it. It has moved me in a way that I didn't think video games could. Stood there and applauded. I mean, how big of a nerd is that? In a room, alone, applauding at a television screen. But I'll never forget it. Absolutely love this game. One of the best on the PlayStation 2. One of the best ever. Ico. Loved it. Of course, like everyone else, Grand Theft Auto was everywhere, and it changed the industry just like Super Mario 64 did. First huge open world realistic style game. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, for better or for worse. I did a lot of bad things in this game and a lot of good things as well. Mature story, actual actors in the game lending their voices. When this game hit, everyone that I know was playing it. I remember waiting at a midnight launch for this game in the neighborhood. Everyone was there. I knew everyone. We were standing there talking about it, oh, the graphics, it's incredible. The PlayStation 2, the emotion engine, it's going to lead to things that are revolutionary. We all swallowed that marketing like everyone else did, but it was fun, and that's the memory that I have, standing there at this midnight launch, waiting for this game, everyone excited, talking about it, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? I wonder if we go to the airport, if we can actually fly, and it turns out you can. I wonder if we can just jump over buildings, or we can jump off of buildings, or we can do whatever it is we want to do in this city. In addition to the story, it was just revolutionary. And as soon as this game launched, I mean, every single game after Grand Theft Auto 3 went open world, fully 3D, do what you want. Even Jak and Daxter 2 went to this sort of open world style game. And that leads me into Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation 2. I was I was so excited about this game because I'm a big fan of 3D action platformers, and this game promised the first seamless 3D world ever, and it delivered. Guys, this game has 7 Guinness Video Game World Records, 7 of them, and one is for the first seamless open world in a video game. It was absolutely phenomenal, had a day and night cycle, graphics at the time, animation at the time that blew a lot of different games away. It was amazing, and it was the beginning of Sony not just wanting to tell, a basic story in gameplay, but trying to flesh out characters and worlds, and I loved it. I absolutely love this game. The memory that I have of this is literally any and every piece of information I could get, I had stockpiled on this game. I would read magazine covers front to back, magazines front to back. I remember, I think it was Electronic Gaming Monthly that ran a feature on this, and I had it. I looked at all the pictures. It was insane, the amount of information that I knew about this game before it even launched, and I played it as soon as it came out. It must have taken me maybe 2 days to finish the game. I just would not stop playing it, trying to collect all of the orbs. It was a phenomenal game. I still play this today. It's available on the PlayStation 5 store. It is just one of those games that leaves me with that memory of the excitement of where games were going, the changes, pushing the industry forward in certain genres. I loved Jak and Daxter, still to this day, one of the best games on the PlayStation 2. There are a lot of games that I have memories for, not just these here. These are just the ones off the top of my head that I just sit down and I remember. And on the Sega Master System again, Black Belt. I remember sitting by myself. I wasn't really a cool kid back in the day. I was kind of a nerd, but I really got into my games. I remember sitting down and playing this for hours, trying to figure out the patterns. I remember if you jump and at the last minute press from left to right, use the kick, you can come down and use your kick to avoid some of the bosses, just getting the power-ups left to right and getting to a boss fighting and doing the same thing over again. It had a great soundtrack. I remember playing this game to completion and feeling like I had actually accomplished something. It was just so much fun. I loved the character. I knew nothing about the character, nothing about the world. All the enemies look the same. Now I look back on it, it's pretty simplistic and funny, but it's just one of those games where you remember sitting there and being just almost like in a trance. You were just so engrossed in the game and you were having so much fun. And just one game, because we didn't have a lot of money, just one game could keep me occupied for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I absolutely loved this game. I played it so much. When it was over, I remember being sad that there wasn't anything else I could do with this game except start it over. So what did I do? I started it over again. Black Belt is such a good beat 'em up on the Sega Master System, and I love the memories that I have with this game and all the other games that I talked about. Of course, there are other games that I remember, like Twisted Metal Black, sitting there playing it with my younger brother, co-op together, split screen. Great memory that I have there, and there's a ton of others. These are just some games that I remember off the top of my head that I have memories, tied to, and memories that don't necessarily have anything to do with gaming, but they're there and they're linked together. And that's what I love about gaming, because, I remember, way back there seeing Altered Beast, being in the store with my mom. I remember being screamed at by my brother off sides, and it's all about gaming bringing us together, keeping us together. Let me know if you have memories tied to gaming in the comments section below. What games do you remember fondly playing with family or friends? Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.